Hello, my name is Grace Wanura, and this is Horse Pro, the channel dedicated to empowering the amateur horse enthusiast and supporting the budding professional. If you haven't yet subscribed to our station, please do so by clicking the subscribe button, and you will be notified of any new videos if you hit the notification bell as well. Also, if you find any of today's information valuable to you, please hit the like icon. Now, Fridays are going to be Q&A Fridays. Today is our first Q&A, and I decided to do this because I got inundated on Facebook with a lot of PM messages, and I'm very grateful. I'm grateful to everyone for taking a look at the station and finding value in anything I've done so far. So I'm going to move right along to today's question. It comes from what I think would be a young professional. One of my students has a large pony she and her mom just love. They have done the 2'6" for 2 years, and my student is ready to move up to the larges or even onto a horse since she has also had a growth spurt. Problem is, the pony is maxed out at 2'6". Every time we try for more, he becomes uncharacteristically spooky and begins to stop at the fences. Kid would love to move up and is okay with moving the pony on, but the mom loves the pony and doesn't want to part with it. Thoughts? So a couple of things. Obviously, this is a really smart young professional, and she is taking some time to think about this, and she's obviously really trying to make her student aspire to be the best she can be, especially since obviously the young student would like to do more. They've given the pony a shot at doing 2 solid years at 2'6", it sounds like. And it sounds like they haven't had a problem at 2'6", simply when they try to move beyond that level. And I'm assuming that, because this trainer sounds pretty smart and clever, that she's got it figured out that it's not physical, but that the pony really is maxed out at the 2'6" level. So we're going to assume that this young professional has done due diligence, which it sounds like, and that she's really in a quandary of how to get the mom to allow the young daughter to move on to showing at a division that is at a larger height, or moving on to a horse perhaps. Now, this is really a tough question, but uncharacteristically, it is more common than you think. I know usually it's the kids that want to hang on to the ponies or the horses, and sometimes trying to do more and not wanting to part with their first, especially if it's their first pony. But this time we have a mom. So, there's a couple things here. The child, while they're going to want to move on and do more, they're also going to feel guilty. They're going to feel guilty because they obviously love their pony. The pony's done a great job for them. But number 2, they probably do not pay the bills on the pony. So they're going to come into it with the feeling of guilt because the parents, or the mom in this case, is covering the bills, paying the bills for its upkeep and its showing, I am assuming. So you have a guilt factor with the child. So the child will often defer to the parent when push comes to shove because of these feelings of guilt. Then you have the mom who obviously loves the pony, wants what's best for the pony, knows that the child wants to move on. Otherwise, I'm assuming wouldn't have allowed the trainer to try a larger division. So, and they're obviously thinking, well, what about the future of the pony? What about what if the pony went to a poor home? All of these things. So this trainer is in a bind. She would like her student to move up. The mother would like the student to move up, it sounds like, but the pony cannot move up. How do you handle this situation? Well, one of the ways that you can really handle any situation is by being very, very upfront, but in a kind, professional manner. Perhaps the mother doesn't really realize that the pony is really trying to tell them that it's not comfortable going beyond 2'6". And perhaps the mother needs to be told that if she would like to keep the daughter at the 2'6" level and remain there, then definitely they can keep the pony. But if they want to try to move up, this is where the trainer may have to put some boundaries in and say, we can no longer do anything above 2'6". Absolutely not. The pony's not comfortable with it. The pony may be injured, your daughter may be injured, and it's simply not fair to the pony. So now if the mom really does want the young lady to move on, they have a quandary. So perhaps suggesting leasing the pony out or part boarding the pony out to someone else in the stable, or leasing outside of the stable. Sometimes it's hard for people to keep a pony they own within their own view, and sometimes it's easier. So this is something that needs to be taken up with the parent if they're even amenable to trying to find the pony another situation. And of course, this has to do also with finances. Sometimes if you're keeping one pony and you are lucky enough to lease it out, will that lease money actually procure a lease on your a new lease for your own daughter or for your own student, or perhaps the people have enough funds that they can lease one out and purchase another. But this is something that has to be laid out. But definitely the trainer is in the right thought frame of mind that if the pony's telling them it can't go beyond 2'6", it shouldn't. And the parent, who is the adult, needs to be spoken to, probably without the child present, because the problem is a lot of parents will then turn to the child and say, well, what do you think? But this is where it's really tough on kids. They really don't want to disappoint their parents, and they will defer to their parents' thought patterns often. So the trainer may simply have to say to the parent, I really appreciate your business. I appreciate how much you love this pony. I love teaching your daughter. Your daughter is talented and needs to move on, to be challenged herself, and has expressed to me she would like to be. So perhaps we could find a way to move on without compromising the health or welfare of the pony or your daughter in this. That's really all you can do. If the people, or if the mother really is adamant that she wants to keep the young lady at 2'6" in order to keep this particular pony, then you have to decide as the professional, do you want to keep them as clients or not? Usually what will happen is when it's approached in a very thoughtful and conscientious, straightforward meeting or a straightforward conversation with the parent outlining why it is no longer advantageous to try to accelerate the pony in its divisional height, or why the daughter should move on, and perhaps find alternatives in the meantime in terms of not even just a sale, but perhaps a lease or a boarding agreement or a part board within your stable or outside of your stable, and present options that perhaps are viable, then maybe this mom will think about it and decide, yes, you know what, I will do this. Especially as leases can be tailor-made to the owner's specifics, where they go, how they're treated, what they can eat, who does the farrier work, what vet work needs to be done, what height can it do, how many times can it show. You can really tailor-make these leases to be suitable to make the owners comfortable. And of course, it's a two-way street. The person on the other end is going to want to have some say in the lease, but the owner does not have to sign unless they're comfortable. So maybe this is a good way to approach this situation. I wish you the best of luck. Please let me know how it works out, and I would love to know whether or not you move the young lady onto another pony to do the large division, or whether onto a horse, or whether you have only the option of leaving the young lady at the 2'6". Thank you very much for your question. You are obviously going to be an asset to this industry, and I really value the fact that you were brave enough and thoughtful enough to send me this question. Thanks again. Everyone, have a great Friday. Keep your questions coming. Next Friday will be another Q&A.